Hello YouTube, I hope everybody's doing good. In this video, you'll get to watch, if you like, my diagnostic thought process of how I attacked a intermittent problem. Guys, that's one of the hardest things we have if we are trying to diagnose a car that's not exhibiting the symptoms that we're chasing after. So I kind of went around in a big circles testing a lot of things for a little while until this vehicle actually acted up, and then it was easy. What's going on, everybody? Today you've got a drop off. It's supposed to be an intermittent, no start, no crank, possibly a key message, some sort of key not detected message in the dash. But it is an intermittent problem. Also, one time this vehicle did stall out for the customer. So we're going to go ahead and see what we got here. So when I turn the key on here, I'm always looking for a check engine light. That's one of the most important things. So I'm turning the key on. And I do have a check engine light coming on. Also, oh, we got a brake clamp bulb fault. How about that? Also, I'm looking at my Prindle. You see how park, reverse, neutral drive is indicated. That's always a good thing. If that's blank or they're all highlighted, that'll indicate another issue. We do have a crank start and run. Let me try that one more time. See what's going on here. Lock, unlock. And we do have a runner. We got 93,000 on the clock on this one. Let's go ahead and hop in and go for a test drive and see what we have. Just to see how this thing is running, see if we can get anything to happen. I'm not going far, so if I run into a big issue, we can always hoof it back home, I guess, if we have to. It's not the plan. But I'm really curious because this did stall for the customer once and restarted right away. I just want to see how the car is running overall, see if there's anything obvious that I can tell just by a test drive. Sometimes you have that. I was debating on this vehicle here whether we should do a complete vehicle code scan before the test drive or after the test drive. Maybe it should be best to do it before, just in case something's obvious. But like I said, we're not going far. And this vehicle always does seem to start back up. I guess yesterday they say it wouldn't start for 3 or 4 times for them. They tried. Also, they did try multiple keys. Anytime you guys are dealing with any type of no crank situation or key problem, immobilizer problem possibly on any car, if you can get your customer to try different keys, so we can kind of eliminate that. The chance of having 2 bad keys, slim to none, right? So we do have that message indicator just popped up, brake clamp bulb fault. We'll have to check that out, see what's going on. Maybe that could be related, maybe not. We'll see. All right, we put just about a mile on this thing. No problems noted. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna pull this in. Let's do a complete DTC scan on it. So I am lucky enough to have the Ford IDS software. FJDS would work the same, I believe. Guys, any scan tool you have will be able to do all DTC scan. I mean, any scan tool worth its weight, right? I mean, whether it's an Autel, a Snap-on, all kinds of other brands out there too. So we're just going to scan this thing and see what's going on. I'm hoping that we got some codes that can give us some diagnostic direction. If we don't have any codes for diagnostic direction, it's going to be totally up to us getting this thing to act up. You guys know, the first thing we have to do in our diagnostic strategy is verify the customer concern or duplicate the customer concern. So far, I have not been able to do that. The vehicle started up just fine here. So I've started it a couple times now. And I'll go ahead and start it up one more time, see what we have. Here's the scan tools getting going. Now, the customer did say about 3 months ago they had a new battery installed. I would like to probably go ahead and check that just to make sure all's well. Okay, so the vehicle did ID itself. 2013 Ford Escape. Yes, that's what we got. 1.6 EcoBoost here. I'm really curious to see if we have codes for, invalid security key or key not recognized. Maybe a network code, communication code. That's kind of what I'm expecting, but you never know. We'll take a look here. And we're going to go ahead in here to the toolbox. We're going to let's go to a self-test. We're going to go all continuous memory DTCs, all CM DTCs. Some scan tools may list it like that, or it'll say vehicle scan or auto scan. And here we come with our list of DTCs. All right, let's take a look. So right off the bat, nothing in the powertrain control module. ABS, loss of communication with the engine control module. ABS, lost communication with the transmission control module. Lost communication with the steering angle sensors. Lost communication with the body control module. Internal software compatibility code in the ABS module. Wow. Alright, let's continue. Brake pedal switch A. Missing message. Body control module has a code for a PATS antenna. PATS key. Interior light circuit. Central lock switch illumination. Lost communication. Medium speed CAN bus low. Interesting. So we're going to take a look at some of our freeze frame stuff. We have a list of codes as you see. This list goes on. The beautiful thing about Ford IDS is it keeps a record of this, so we can automatically generate a quick report. I'm just taking a look here. A lot of modules have a lot of codes. All communication codes, invalid data codes. Let's take a look. I'm still scrolling through here. There's a lot of stuff going on here. The power steering control module also says no communication with the ABS module. No communication with the body control module. The airbag module saying software incompatibility code. Also a central configuration code. Signal plausibility. And we got the good old-fashioned U0140 in the steering angle module. Usually U0140s are the lost communication with the body control. And you might see that up here. Let me see if anything else had a U0140. I don't think it did. Maybe not. Yep, there you go. So here's the same code. Each module that sets that code is just saying it's not communicating with that module. So we've got a lot of stuff going on there. Of course, this thing is running right at the moment. No issues. Now the Ford IDS scan tool does a nice job of letting us do a network test. So we're going to go ahead and perform a network test. I do have the key on engine running. We're going to go ahead and do this and see what happens. And at this point, after turn key on, engine off. I might put the diagnostic breakout box on here. Just take a look at the medium speed CAN bus, see what our resistance is and our voltage is there. We could probably put the scope on there, take a look. That might be some insight. And maybe it might be time to start wiggling some wires, wiggling some harnesses underneath the hood. Okay, so let's see. Optional equipment modules. All these modules have failed. They may or may not be equipped on a vehicle. But we do have a pass for the steering wheel sensor module. That's good. That's one of the modules that was on that list. I'm just thinking in my brain we had ABS, PSCM, and BCM were some of the main modules I'm concerned about. And these all passed the network test as you see here. So that's good that it passed. At this point, I'm going to continue to start this a few times on and off. Also, one of the biggest things that I see a lot of times is if cars aren't fully in park, I'm going to go ahead and just gently put this into park, not slam it, just to see by chance if this will not be in park. But that started no problem. So, all right, you guys all know that we should be doing a visual inspection all the time on anything we're working on. Usually I do my visual inspection as the vehicle's doing its all DTC scan. You can save time like that, but let's take a look here. You can go ahead and look around, Olivia. One of the things I'm noting right off the top of my head that I don't like, I see we have a lot of debris in here. These are water drain vents, so there could be some water backing up and flowing somewhere it shouldn't. I don't have my other light with me, but I'm going to get it in just a second. But what I'm looking for is anything that looks out of the ordinary. I know that they said they had a battery put in a little while ago. The battery on these is up underneath this cover. Let's take a look here. I'm very curious to make sure that we have tight connections. I'm just giving it a wiggle if I can. It's really tough to get back to that back one, the negative cable. So I'm just giving this a quick once over. You never know. Sometimes you'll see something that is very apparent and obvious to you. Tell you what, right down here I see a harness that's kind of close to this body frame. This looks like right in here. Oh, let me get my light there so we can see better. I don't like how this is really tight. Probably nothing. But I'm looking for anything I can do to make this vehicle act up that might be related. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a module causing us a problem, or a harness, right? I mean, what else could it be? I don't see anything going on at the moment. Part of my visual inspection is also to make sure there's no aftermarket accessories. Of course, these newer vehicles, a lot of times you won't see radios being replaced, but I'm going to take a look underneath here and see if I see anything aftermarket that may be causing a problem. A lot of times, sometimes I just reach my hand up back by the DLC or in an area and see if I can feel anything abnormal, like scotch locks or anything like that going on. And I don't see a whole lot, or I don't feel a whole lot. Let me see if I can see anything. If we have all this corrosion here, or not should I say corrosion, but if this water is building up, could it be that we have a problem underneath the fuse block? Something going on here. Truly don't know. Let me see if I can. I was just checking, you never know. Sometimes you pull up a fuse block cover and there's a rat's nest in there, rodent nest or something, but this looks pretty clean. You can tell there has been some sort of dirt and debris right in this area here that may or may not cause a problem, but it might be from water overflowing on this thing. You'd think the cover would keep it all out, but at this point I want to tap around, give things a wiggle. Not a lot to see here, is there? I can't really get to anything. So at this point, I think I'd like to take a look at wiring diagrams, see how this network's laid out. Also take a look at how, which modules we wouldn't be able to communicate with, or we have history code saying it wasn't communicating with, and try to isolate those modules and see if there's a difference or any links that we can put together and say, hey, this module, this module, this module weren't communicating, but these modules were. Okay, where's that tie in, or how are they related to each other? I think that's important to do when you have these basically a problem you can't duplicate. And it's a pretty important problem. It's not like, hey, my radio doesn't work sometimes. We're dealing with, hey, the car flat out won't start, or it's stalled. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that stuff and we'll go from there. Okay, so guys, as I'm looking at this stuff, I see this one code in a BCM. This is a big red flag to me. U3008, control module ground A, circuit open. Now, of course, this is a history code. It's previously detected, but man, that sounds pretty important when we have an open and a ground circuit. Here we go with our U3008 code. Basically, it's telling us to check the ground of circuit GD140 to ground. They want us to check the resistance. Guys, when we talk about checking the resistance, I want to tell you that makes me think I want to check the voltage on that circuit. You know, if we back probe and check the voltage, we'll be able to easily tell if we have a bad ground or not. Also, I would like to take a look and actually find out where this ground is at this body control module, okay? Super important to understand what we got going on. And here we have our body control module. There's a power ground, GD140. Let's take a look at our bookmark. I'm going to go ahead and, guys, if you aren't using bookmarks in your service information, start using them. I'm going to click on bookmark and add a bookmark here. Oop. I want to get back to this circuit to make sure which ground circuit were they telling us to test. That's GD140 black and gray. Make sure we're on the same thing. Black and gray GD140. So it looks like that's pin 2, and that is of that same connector, C2280E. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but that's what we're looking for. So we got to go back, and we're going to have to dig out this body control module. I believe it's going to be on, if it's like the Ford Focus, it's going to be up over there, right behind the glove box. We're going to have to check that and see if we can test that ground. But also, let's find out where G200 is, right? G200, let's find that location of that. And I'm going to go ahead, and if you guys right click, you can open up a new tab and new link. You have multiple tabs of your service information open here. This is how I try to do it. So G200, right? G200. Let's take a look and see if we can find that. Just so you know, guys, under the hood is generally your 100 series. Between the A pillar and the B pillar is usually your 200 series, not all the time. 300 series is between your B pillar and your C pillar, and then 400 series is usually, you know, the back part of the vehicle. So here's G200 on a passenger side floor, so it's going to be right down in there. That's where we're looking, G200. So just a heads up, that's where that ground is, but that doesn't mean, you know, that ground is of course ground to the body. I mean, guys, when we're talking about problems on vehicles, it could be the main ground. This is the main ground for this vehicle back here. We have a problem all the way over there. It could be anywhere. And there is our body control module, everybody. Just so you know, it's just underneath the glove box, back against the firewall. So there's where our testing would be having to take place. I don't know if I'm on the right track or not, but that ground, just so you guys know, is supposed to be underneath here. Let's take a look, see if we have anything. Definitely have some corrosion there. I'll have to get a light, but in my eyesight, I see some green goblins going on. These two grounds look all right, so let's figure out which one's which here. So unfortunately, in our picture here, G200 is one of these clean looking ones. That doesn't mean it's good. I don't see the ground that's bolting down from the top. That's kind of interesting. But we also have G302. See, as we get closer to the back by the B pillar, the numbers go higher. So we go from a 200 series all the way up. So G200 is the front ground there. It is very interesting. There's a piece of tape underneath this ground. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but there is actually a piece of tape and some sort of fabric underneath this ground. I don't know what's going on here. Very interesting. This ground is a big fatty. This one's a pretty heavy ground, and it's definitely got a little bit of corrosion on it. Now, I was just setting up my jumper wires to go ahead and test that ground. I want to see what we have on it. It's extremely hard for me to get this in here, but I'm going to try to show you guys. There is an incredible amount of corrosion on this battery. I mean, I'm talking a lot. It's an awful lot there. You can see the terminal underneath the cable end there. That's the battery terminal. So I'm going to start by cleaning that up. I think that's a very important thing to have. We may not even have a good battery to do our testing off of. We want to reference the vehicle battery, but if that ground is bad, everything is going to be bad. So after taking off that negative cable assembly to clean it and basically make sure it was clean and tight, well, that sensor, the current sensor, was all the way rotted through, and the pigtail is bad too. So we replaced that, put the vehicle back together. At that point, I did test that ground at the BCM, and it had about a 15 millivolt drop maximum on that. So there was no problem at that time with that ground. Now, when I say that, I mean at that time. Guys, we got to make sure we're testing things when the problem's happening. But I put this vehicle back together. I could not duplicate it. I had it for a full day on and off testing, multiple test drives, short test drives, so I didn't get stranded. Never got it to act up until I called the customer, told them to come pick it up, and then I went outside one more time, and this was after a long heat soak. You know, it was hot, and the vehicle sat for about 20 minutes after it was really warmed up. Went to go crank it, and this is what we had. Okay, finally catching this thing in the act. I went to get out of the car, and the radio display would not turn off. It was stuck on up there. We've got this airbag light flashing on and off. The key's in the run position. If I go to roll up the window, oh, now I got nothing. When I turn the key off, the dome lights flash real fast. Interesting stuff. Just wanted to document what it's doing. We got all kinds of clickety-clack. I want to see a network test on this thing. Unfortunately, I don't have my breakout box for the DLC with me at the moment. The throttle body's definitely clickety-clacking on and off. Trying to see what else is clicking here. I had this thing running. It's a little bit of a heat soak with AC on a hot day. I've just been back there. We got a brand new negative battery cable here and sensor. Oh, check that out right here, guys. It's right in here for sure. Woo! How about that? That'll probably cause it to stall too, so there. Okay, we stalled out. So just so you know, I got my key in a run position. You can hear all this stuff. Whoa, this is flat out dangerous.
What's wrong with it?
I think there's a bad connection right here. That's a good one, huh?
Yeah, it is.
I think I caught it. Now it's not showing a voltage drop, but watch this. If I gotta figure out what I'm doing when I touch this. You don't have to see the motor right now. I touch it like that, and this thing starts right up. So let me check and make sure we don't have any crazy voltage drop between here and here. I'm showing 8.9 millivolts. That's no problem. All I'm doing is just barely touching this. Let me start trying to wiggle. I really feel it's going to be this fuse right here. The vehicle do this. So I went ahead and pulled out this this fuse that I believe is the problem, and just to test our meter, I test the meter itself. I don't usually use ohm test, but this is saying, you know, half an ohm, 9/10. That's fine. Check it right here to make sure we're still got a reading 4/10. If I go to this side, I'm reading OL, and then we go. If I kind of try to make a connection, just to give this thing a little twist and keep pressure on it, we have readings that are bouncing all over the place. I believe, you know, we should definitely have a low reading, and this is not testing that way. So I think this fuse is bad. I can't see anything leading that way, but I can't get this plastic cover off. A simple fuse, as you see here, was causing all these problems. I couldn't believe that just adding power to that one circuit would make it go ahead and start all by itself just by having the key in a run position. But with all the electronics on vehicles, anything's possible. Now, one thing I will tell you is that I was measuring a voltage drop across that fuse of 9 volts, okay? From one point of that fuse to the other, between my meter leads, was 9 volts. But what I gotta tell you is that it wasn't necessarily a voltage drop. The voltage that we're seeing, the difference in potential across that fuse, was actually circuits that fuse powers up. It was getting basically trickle voltage some people call it backfeeding. I wouldn't necessarily call it that, but just when you have a bunch of components and electronic components on circuits, you will see voltage coming back through other components on other powers. And that's what we're seeing coming back there. So the fuse is flat out open. And that was all our problem was. Guys, this was a challenging diagnostic in a certain way, very easy in others. If this thing would have been acting up, you know, when it got dropped on my doorstep, it would have been pretty quick and easy to figure it out. But I spent some time with it, and I was really close. If you guys see in the thing, like I said, so close. I was right there, almost on it. If maybe it's heat related, I can't tell you. Maybe if I would have wiggled it a little bit harder, you just never know. Sometimes you wiggle stuff like that, and you'll actually create more problems on a vehicle. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, put them below. Like Hands On Auto Training on Facebook. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a great day.